I'm Jennifer Senesi, you're watching News 24 Live. Well, I'm joined in studio by Gareth and Janine, and they are going to introduce us to the Maker Library Network. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for sitting down with me on such a hot day. Okay, now we're talking about the Maker Library Network. Can you just explain to us what that is? Because I don't think a lot of people know what we're talking about here.
I think I'll start with what a maker library is. In a physical sense, a maker library always has a makerspace for practical making, a library for literature, and a gallery to showcase interesting objects. Our maker libraries are add-on to existing creative spaces. There are a range of them. It could be an architectural studio, it could be a membership-run making space. Some are conceptual designers, for example. So we have our maker libraries hosted by creative communities in Cape Town, Johannesburg, Durban, and in the UK.
Okay, Gareth, you are from the UK.
Yes.
How did you get involved in the whole Maker Library saga?
Well, I work in a makerspace. It's called Machines Room. We're in East London. And a makerspace it's a studio where the public can pay a little bit of money and then they can use tools. So the kind of tools that maybe they wouldn't have access to normally, they pay and they can come and use a 3D printer, a laser cutter, tools like that. So I was already working at Machines Room, and the British Council with Daniel Charney approached us and invited us to be part of the network. And what that's done for us is that it's meant that what before was just a workshop, essentially, a place where people went to work. It's now a place where people can show, read, and think. So I now program showcases, so I choose exciting objects from makers in the space, and I put them on a plinth, and we say, look, this is really interesting. We gather around and we talk about it. Sometimes I invite in an interesting maker who will give a talk, and we'll talk about something that maybe other people don't know about. We've also hosted much bigger events, like big meetups of people like hardware startups who want to share their kind of new products and ideas. But one of the most kind of exciting parts of being part of the network is that it links our space, which is a space in the corner of East London, suddenly on a global scale all the way over to South Africa. And through that, we've met amazing creatives over here, and I've been lucky enough to come and see them firsthand this time round. And what that's starting off is collaborations between makers in London and in South Africa. And the project itself is a kind of prototype that's going to go global. And I think that's really important. The maker movement is a burgeoning scene, and this project is one of the forerunners of that, that's bringing, it's building a network that is also putting a focus on kind of learning and creativity and showcasing what is actually made in all these kind of spaces.
Janine, how did you get involved?
So I was invited to come into the network to help coordinate the South African chapter of the Maker Library. So I have a co-pilot who sits in London, closer to our UK-based Maker librarians, and I get to coordinate between them and to facilitate them as Maker librarians.
Now, Maker librarians, or the makers, I guess you said, make things. What kind of things do they make? Is it anything? Anything they can think of?
What's amazing about Maker Library Network is that it really is the celebration of craft, indigenous fields of making and technology. So you have this very wide range, and through those collaborations, which Gareth mentioned, sometimes we even find the merging of old craft techniques with new technology disciplines. Wow. Really interesting, and that's also the thing with making as opposed to designing in a particular discipline. With making, sometimes the decision can come from wanting to explore a particular type of material or an old craft way, and through that process of making, new ideas are developed and shared. It's quite an interesting way to reach innovation.
There's also democracy to it, so anybody can be a maker. With the words design, art, coding, programming, there's kind of barriers to that. But with the word making, anybody can go to a makerspace, anybody can go to a maker library, join in one of our workshops and just have a go.